Good morning, world out there online. We're starting our service today, and we have our choir on stage. So we need everybody to stand and sing this song that was written by James Vandenberg, I Am That I Am.
Source of all things that knows us completely and thoroughly. Everything that we are is known to this one life that is forever and ever unfolding for us, presenting itself as nature, as life, as friends, as community. It is so good to be here together as community, knowing that we are safe and loved right here where we are. And I give great thanks for this, and so it is. Good morning. Wonderful to have everyone here this morning, and thank you, choir, for being here this morning. I am not Reverend Patty. I am Reverend Marcus. Even though I don't have my beard, I had a little razor incident, so I'm clean shaven for the moment. We'll see how long that lasts. But I'm happy to be here. Reverend Patty is self-isolating with a little bit of COVID, so she's staying away so that we might all be healthy. She seemed in good spirits when I was talking to her because she said she was at a silent retreat with a bug. So we just know health and happiness for her and that she will be back. If you're visiting this morning, please do come back. She is a wonderful and dynamic speaker and leader of this community. So love to you, Patty. Good morning. Let's see, what else do we have here? So, feels like there's more before this, but, I'll welcome online guests. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning online. It's wonderful to have you. I like to say that you all get to talk in class. So if you can, chat and say hello to each other. Let us know where you're from. We are so happy to have our online guests and members. It's wonderful to have you with us. This place is a place where we do transform lives through practical spirituality. You'll hear later about the opportunities for classes and for engagement. There's so much that happens here at Vision, and I'm glad that you're here this morning. And know that as you participate, Spirit delights in that participation as we come together as communities. So please do stay tuned and listen for all of those ways that we can be together as community. It is spring, and here comes the sun. There's a little bit of sun coming. But yeah, we just passed into a new season, so I hope you all had a fantastic St. Patty's Day, and now we're into that new season of growing light. So we're past that midpoint, and I think we've had our first sunset after 7 p.m., so it's happy time for me. I love all the sunlight. We also have welcome packets that are around the center. They're on the table back there. There's some in the front. There's some out in the hall. It includes information about Vision, Centers for Spiritual Living, and lots of good information. If you've not picked one up and you've been around for a while, go ahead and pick one up and see what's in there and see if it's something that you would like to share with your friends. And before we get to the welcome, I do want to say that one of the other things that we have here in Centers for Spiritual Living and Vision are prayer practitioners and ministers who are available to pray for you and with you. In your program, there may be a form where you can fill out a prayer. If there's not, there's some prayer forms on the table back there. At the end of the service, all of the prayer practitioners and ministers will be lined up at the front, and you can grab one and say, hey, I need a quick prayer, either for something that's challenging going on with your life or even a joy. Practitioners and ministers love to pray joy with you. So please avail yourself of the many ways of prayer. Oh, and that too. Can you tell that I don't do this every Sunday? So again, before we get there, we'll go, we're going to do the welcome first, and then we'll do Women's History Month. But
I'm ready.
all right, great. Okay, so on the welcome packet, we do have a saying that we say with each other and for each other, and so let's say that real quickly before we bring Reverend Lori up. So here we go. Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here, you are safe, and you are loved. And yes, it is Women's History Month, and we do have a highlight this morning from Reverend Lori.
Thank you, Marcus. Good morning, everyone. Happy. Today we honor a woman, Ventura Papke. Anyone who has studied the history of science of mind and religious homes know that Ernest only slowly and somewhat reluctantly came to embrace the idea of having ministers and churches as a way to spread the teachings of science of mind. He loved practitioners and stated that they were the heart of the movement. Ernest's home personal practitioner was his wife until her death, when he started to work with Ventura Papke. She was passionate, joyful, and had a good sense of humor and trust in God. Ventura was born in 1901 in Kansas City, Missouri, and after experimenting several religions, such as all of us did, she discovered science of mind and knew that she was home. She became a licensed practitioner in 1958 and served as the director of practitioner training at the Science of Mind Institute. Ventura also believed in treatment that she didn't want to hear the story from her clients. It was that absolute faith in each person's perfection and oneness that made her such a powerful teacher. After a client stated their situation, she always started out by saying, "Tain't so, tain't so." That was her comment, affirming only the truth of any situation. Ventura Papke made her transition at the age of 95, ending a life of service and healing to many, including Ernest Holmes. Marcus?
Thank you very much. Wonderful to learn some history of not only Women's History Month, but also Centers for Spiritual Living and Religious Science. With that, let's just turn and say hello to each other real quick. And all right, I love that sound. Let's go ahead and now go into our centering song and prepare for our meditation.
My name is Victoria Kramer. I am a licensed spiritual counselor here at Vision. Please take these quotations into your heart as we move into the silence and allow the tones of the bowl to bring you into and out of the silence. From Catherine Lang, you harvest your tomorrow from the words and thoughts you scatter throughout your now. And from Ernest Holmes, our garden is a garden of thoughts and ideas, of hope and of faith from which we'll grow. If we carefully tend it, the fruit of our heart's desires. The memorial candle is burning today for Rick Cedar, brother-in-law of John Kirko. Rick made his transition last Monday. The candle is also burning for Aunt Elion, dear aunt of Vision member Rick Poser. She made her transition this past week. And also, I would like to include a dear friend of mine, Paul Dauber, who made his transition last week. And what we know is that each of these gentle souls have made their transition and spiraled up into that great, infinite other side. That we know that God is all there is, that God is infinite. And as part of that infinite presence, these souls continue to express, continue to travel, continue to be that full expression, for that is all we can ever be, is that full expression of God. So I bless them on their journey, knowing that they are met and greeted and carry on with the love and the light and that full expression of God that they are and they forever will be. And I give thanks for the service today, knowing that each one of us, we simply show up. We suit up and show up and do what needs to be done. And I give thanks for each person here today that has suited up. Being that expression of God, we shine brightly, and I give thanks for the choir and their magical, angelic voices. And I give thanks for Mark for his brilliance on the piano. And I give thanks for each person here and each person online that has shown up today to be that expression of God, to connect, to be the love, to be the light, to be the laughter. And I really give thanks for Reverend Marcus, who has shown up brightly today. And I know that his words inspire and connect to each of our hearts, that he is that clear expression, and what he says flows through him effortlessly, easily, with ease and grace. And we leave here with light hearts, light steps, smiles, and laughter. And I give thanks for this day of connection, for this day of purpose, for this day of joy, celebrating this newness, this regeneration of springing forward. And I give thanks for all of this. And I simply label today's service as absolutely perfect, whole, complete, and with love I turn it over to that presence, claiming, and so it is. Amen.
the rest behind, it'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice. A song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Thank you, choir. Well, here we are, almost done with this month's theme, the flow of coming and going. And today I'm going to talk about the thoughts, the seeds that we sow in our life that tend to come and go. As I already mentioned, we've gone through the spring equinox. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I love the winter solstice one because that means the days are getting longer, and then when spring equinox comes, the days are really getting longer, and we're on our way to summer, and I just really love that. It's a time of renewal. It's a time of opening up. We here in Southern California, it tends to be growing all the time. There's always something growing. There's always something in bloom, I've noticed. I came from Colorado. So this time of year, I would be going out and looking under the little snow piles to see if the plants from last year had any green on them, and starting my list to see what I wanted to go shopping for those plants that might not be coming back. So it's a time of anticipation, of wondering what's coming next, what's going to be here, what's it going to look like, what's it going to smell like. Right now, there's so much citrus in bloom as I walk through the neighborhood, and it's just one of those scents that catches me unaware still. I've been here 12, 13 years now, and still I get that, oh, what is that heavenly scent? And it's just wonderful to have that time of year. And so it's also a time of year where we have that opportunity to step into, what do I want to grow? What do I want to nurture? What is going on in me right now that eventually will become a manifestation? What's going on through my mind? What am I thinking of? What are these seeds that I'm sowing into my garden of life? So I think it's important that as we enter this time, that we take some time for introspection, literally taking a look within, intro, inside, spection, to look within. In Eckhart Tolle, he says, in Stillness Speaks, when you pay more attention to what you do than to the future result of what you want to achieve by it, you break the old ego conditioning. Then your doing is not only much more effective, but infinitely more joyful and satisfying. So if we're taking the time to become quiet, to be with ourselves, to say, well, what happened in the past few months, what's coming up in the next few months, and that's all well and good, but what's happening right now in me? What is happening right now? What am I thinking of? What's going on? What am I meditating on? As Billy said a few weeks ago, what is my meditation? Where is my mind centered right now? Without judgment, without thinking it should be one way or the other, but just noticing, this is what's happening in me right now. There's lots of ways that we can do introspection. There's the not doing, there's sitting still and be quiet. It's one of my favorite ways. Journaling, we can do journaling. We can do other mindful practices. Washing the dishes can be a mindful practice. If we're just sitting there and that's the only thing that we're focused on, I'm picking up the bowl, I'm putting the soap on, I'm washing it, and I'm drying it, I'm putting it away. Just one thing at a time, not having that running dialogue, or noticing that there might be a running dialogue and say, I'm not going to pay attention to you right now. I'm going to turn the volume down on that running dialogue and just be present. Be present right here and notice what I'm doing, what's happening right here in this moment. Walking meditations are a good way for some people. Actually being conscious of the sounds that are going on. And in fact, let's do that right now. It's not a walking meditation, but a mindfulness practice. If you're open to it, close your eyes and just be in this room as we are. Take a nice, gentle breath. And just notice what sounds you hear. There's the sounds of the highway behind me. There's little noises from the electronics that are on. Little rufflings, little rustlings. Just take another deep breath and open your eyes. That's what it's like to just take a moment of introspection. Another way, another opportunity, another idea is to make a non-digital date with yourself. And that really is to take a moment to say, I'm going to give myself, even if you do something digital first or put it on a calendar, I'm going to make a date with myself on Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to leave my phone or other tablet or watches, all of the bits and baubles that are seeking our attention for something, leave that behind in a safe place and go for a walk. Listen to the birds. It's crazy that they all come back at the same time, especially the mockingbirds are just, it's a chorus of them right now. Take a walk through the neighborhood, being with the self, being with this precious vessel, and just listening to the birds, listening to the sounds of the neighborhood, taking each step consciously, slowly, not in a hurry, not in a rush to get anywhere, or going to a park and sitting at a table and being quiet, leaving the phone in the car, maybe bringing your journal. That's analog, that's not digital. You could bring something to write with. You have these inspirations. This is what's going on with me right now. I'm not judging that. I'm not making any commitment to do anything one way or the other. I'm just noticing these are the things that are happening in my mind right now. These are the things that are happening in my heart. And we can take our time to be gentle with ourselves. And truly, see if you can manage some kind of date with yourself without some kind of device hanging on, looking for your attention. Ernest Holmes says, "Nothing can hurt or disturb my spiritual self. I am free and safe. All ideas and plans can wait until later. My mind is quiet, calm, and deeply still. My body rests in the still silence of the spirit." This is something that we can do anywhere that we are, at home. If you have a space at work where you can just tuck yourself away for a moment, or even walk around the building. We always have opportunities that allow us to be in communion with Spirit, consciously. We're always in communion with Spirit, but not always consciously taking that moment, that time to be there. And from those times, like I said, you might have that little journal with you that you can write thoughts down. You might be able to identify some areas of personal growth, some ideas for intentions that you want to set for the next year. Or you may notice, as I have in the past few months, things that are triggering me. Thoughts of politics, thoughts of money, thoughts of my place in the world, thoughts of whatever it is that bubble up and make me agitated. Those are those places where we can say, there's some prayer work that I can do. There's something that I'm noticing. There's maybe a judgment that I'm making. There's somehow am making my separate from this one life that's all around me, in me, and through me. And perhaps there are times that I am reactive, right? When I was thinking about seeds and the seeds that we sow, there's this weed that grows in our garden, and probably yours too if you have one, called the hairy bittercress. I had to look it up. Yeah, hairy bittercress. And what's fascinating about this plant and the way that it propagates is it has these long seed pods that when you just barely touch them, all you have to do is just brush against them and they explode. And seeds just go everywhere. And in our courtyard, it's paved over, and I can hear the clack, 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 clack of these little seeds that are everywhere. And so that's something that we want to avoid, right? We want to make sure that the seeds that we are sowing are from consciousness, not from a reactive outside influence coming at us. These are these things that trigger us. There's the news, there's the politics, there's the money, there's the relationships, there's all of the stuff that's on the outside of us going in towards us, that sometimes they brush up against us and we go, you know? And all of those seeds, all of those intentions, all of that stuff goes out from us, but from a place that's probably not settled and not conscious. So instead of being reactive to the world around me, I can respond. And going through moments of introspection and taking time to be with myself and with Spirit, I can feel what it's like to respond and say, this is what I want to give out to the world, instead of being brushed up against and reacting and sending out who knows what, to manifest as who knows what later. Another way that we can be conscious of the seeds that we sow is to make sure that we're not employing spiritual bypass. And that's kind of a jargon phrase that really means that we are doing something in order to avoid the thing that needs to be attended to. And when I was thinking about that this morning, I was thinking about Jonah and the whale. Now, not everybody knows about Jonah and the whale, but Jonah was a guy that was told by God, you need to go over here and do this thing because this is what I want you to do. And Jonah said, I'm not, because I hate those people and they were really mean to us. I mean, really, really mean. And he said, so I'm going to go this way. And so he got on a boat, went, I'm going to go as far away from the place that you told me to go. And you can just thank you very much, God, I'm not going to do it. And the waves came crashing up against the boat, and Jonah said, hey guys, I'm sorry, this is probably my fault. I didn't mean to drag y'all into this. And so they threw him over the boat, and he was swallowed up by a whale and eventually barfed back up onto the beach of where he was supposed to go. And is that not a metaphor for life? It's kind of, we notice these things that are ours to do. That might take some introspection, that might take some spiritual work, and we go, I'm just going to meditate and think on that for a little while. And then the next day it's there again. But, I'm going to do exercise instead of, there are things that we can do to bypass getting to those things that we actually need to pay attention to. It's like a big city. I can see the big city coming, but I know there's a bypass that'll take me right around that. And if it's on that commute every day, there's something that I got to do. Then it's that big city in front of me, but I don't want to tend to it. Or it's like Jonah. Nope, God, I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But eventually, these things that require our attention and could be beneficially affected by our intentional action, by creating a seed that we can sow in this world, will be there. Those things will be there. It's not to be afraid of, not to be kicked aside, but in conscious contemplation and in work with the Spirit, we can move our life in the direction that is welcoming and joyful and happy. Another thing that I think of when avoiding spiritual bypass is inviting the ogre to tea. We have these not to the ladies' tea that we just had recently, but metaphorically in our own lives, those things that we don't want that are seemingly monsters in our lives, once we start to pay attention with them, once we start to have a dialogue with ourselves about what they are and what's going on, the monster doesn't seem as bad. The shadow that looms over us from these things can become smaller when we turn and face them. And we say, I recognize you. I see you as a part of myself, and I know that I'm safe to have this dialogue with you. It's okay for me to contemplate and to sit and to figure out what the next step can be. No pressure. I'm not forced into making a decision right now, but come to me, and sit down with me. And so we can have a conversation about these things, embracing discomfort, sitting with it, knowing that it's not forever. You know, this month's theme, coming and going, the flow of life, it is always moving. These things that make us uncomfortable and are seemingly insurmountable at the time. How many times in my life have I had something that seemed insurmountable, and now I'm standing right here in San Diego? You know, life moves. There is nothing that is permanent. Spirit is always creating, moving through us. So it's okay to sit with it sometime, to think about it, to write about it, to get it moving so that it doesn't seem like something that's restricting us. And if you get to a point in something that's going on in your life that just is like, I don't know what to do with this. I just don't know what to do with it. It keeps coming up and it's ugly and I don't like it and it feels gross. There's practitioners, there's ministers, and there's mental health professionals that are there to help us pull these strings and write things out and figure things out and find a way to move beyond that stuckness so that we can grow, that we can emerge into this day, into this life, into this season. And finally, after we've gone through some introspection, after we've made sure that we're not bypassing those things in our lives, we can create life. We can create the life that we want to live. We can have that idea, that new thought. We've gone through this old stuff, cleared that away, and now I can have a new thought that I'm going to sow into my garden of life. That is the mental equivalent. This is, okay, I've come up, this is what I want to feel, this is what I want to see, this is what I want to experience in my life. And that is what I'm giving into, that medium of spirit that will bring back to me that. It might not look the way that I think it's going to look. It might not feel the way exactly that I thought it was going to feel, but it will come back to me. And we have that opportunity to do that over and over and over and over again as much as we want. Our garden is vast and eternal because we are co-eternal with God. And to me, there's a quality of wisdom that comes with that. And we're all born with all of the qualities, abundance and balance and beauty, freedom, all of them. And they're there for us to cultivate. But wisdom is one of those things that comes from experience, I guess. But it is something that is already born within us, and we can cultivate, and we can enjoy it. Now, the Message translation in Proverbs 4, Proverbs is a book in the Bible that's full of little aphorisms and notes on life, if you will. And in the translation of Proverbs 4, there's a young person sitting at their father's knee, and the father says, above all and before all do this, get wisdom. Write this at the top of your list, get understanding. Throw your arms around her. Believe me, you won't regret it. Never let her go. And she'll make your life glorious. She'll garland your life with grace. She'll festoon your days with beauty. We can garland our mental equivalent with grace. We can garland our life with all of the decoration of joy and peace and prosperity and say, this is what I want to experience in my life. And I know that there is no limit to what God can do. There is no limit to what Spirit can create in my life. So this is really good, and I believe in this. I feel it, and I'm going to let it go. I'm going to sow that into my garden. We are the ones that put all of the love and the joy and the beauty and the grace into our lives. As much as I've wanted it to come from the outside over the years, it does not come from the outside. We get glimmers, we get information, we get examples on the outside. But ultimately, the life that I want to experience has to come from within. And if you've been with a practitioner, if you've heard the 5-step affirmative prayer process, the 4th step is thanksgiving, is gratitude. I'm grateful that this is so. I'm grateful that this is a possibility. I'm grateful that I can be here and have this moving through me so that I can release this into the world, into that infinite law of mind that understands everything about me and brings back to me 1,000-fold good upon good upon good. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have introspection, to recognize those places in my life where I might be attempting a bypass. And I have the opportunity to say, this is what I want instead. And that's when I release that into the law, into the hands of grace. I really love that quote that Betty put in our program this morning from Ernest Holmes. Our garden is a garden of thoughts and ideas, of hope and of faith, from which will grow, if we carefully tend it, the fruit of our heart's desire. That is the promise. That is the joy. That is the grace that is always available to us. So introspection, facing our spiritual bypass, and sowing our seeds with gratitude, knowing that the garden that we tend is the garden of our life, and it gets to look the way that we want it to look. Despite the moles, despite the weeds, despite all of the stuff that happens around it, with our conscious co-creation with Spirit, the seeds that we sow can build a beautiful garden of our life. And that's good, yeah? Yeah, I think so too. Thank you so much.
All of shine. I am joy in full expression. I am peace without exception. I am life in its perfection. I am unconditioned love. I am God's love creation. Spirit's flowing as the glory has gone. I am God's idea of creation. Spirit's knowing as the glory has gone. I am God's idea of beauty. Spirit's knowing of itself as free. As free. I am God's idea of beauty. Spirit's knowing of itself as me.
I love being part of a community that has a choir. Thank you, choir. Now is our time for conscious circulation. This is a time when I actually encourage you, if you have a cell phone, you want to take it out, makes it real easy. You can go to Vision's website. We do have a mobile version of our website. It makes it real easy to give. You just scroll down a little bit. There's a donate here button. Allows you to pick whatever amount you want. I think there's a QR code up there. There's a QR code up there. If you give consistently or electronically, thank you so much. That does help us with the budget here at Vision online. Thank you also for giving as well. Those funds that do come in here do allow us to keep doing what we do. Keeps the lights on, keeps the heat and air conditioning going, gives us carpet when we need new carpet. All of those things, everything that happens here is a direct result of the giving and the conscious circulation of money through this center, of funds through the center. So thank you so much for doing that and for being consistent supporters of Vision Centers for Spiritual Living. So let's go ahead and pray. Go ahead, if you have something, put it over your heart, even if it's just in your mind. So I'm so grateful for this moment where we have the opportunity to give back to that place that brings us community, that brings us joy, and that gives us practical tools to apply to our lives so that we might have a better experience of life out in the world. So as the baskets go around, as the funds are shared, I am just so grateful, so thankful to the one life that flows through all things and provides over and over again all of the goodness and the grace that we need. And so it is.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully, gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully, freely. God is the river
Up next, I do have a miracle minute, and there is a miracle sitting right here, right here. So these are James's words that he said I could share this morning. I just want to thank the practitioners, the choir, and everyone for holding me in prayer and high consciousness this past week. As many of you know, I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday last week in the ICU with mysterious internal bleeding, causing massive blood loss, and several episodes of coding and losing consciousness. In one of my more conscious states, I did manage to reach out for prayer treatment. Midday Saturday, there were definite signs that the bleeding had stopped and the blood vessels had healed themselves, and they were able to confirm that on early Sunday morning. Still had to spend a couple of extra days in the hospital for more transfusions and to stabilize, but here I am. So please, 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 if there's a prayer on your heart, if there's something on your mind that you would like prayer for, please seek out a practitioner, write a prayer request. You can do it online. Please ask for prayer, because we know prayer works. Prayer changes things, right? Because prayer changes us. So thank you. Thank you, James. All right. After that, we have the last word by Liz Bird.
Hi, lovey loves in the room, lovey loves on Zoom. Isn't it good to be together? Yes. Yes, it is. So glad you're all here. If you are online, please get to know each other through the meet and greet or get a one-on-one prayer with a practitioner. And if you're able to, come join us in person. We'd like to get to know you here in the room. And there's food. So on Tuesday nights here, most Tuesday nights, we have choir practice. So if you were listening to this wild group up here and said, you know, I kind of want to do that, we want you to do that, especially if you're soprano. Yes, we start this Tuesday. So we have some great music coming up for Easter. It's going to be lovely. Special guests. Stay tuned. So you don't have to have any experience in a choir. You don't have to be able to read music. We are lovingly guided by James. We've got the wild Hungarian here. So sometimes we have Tim filling in, the beautiful and talented Tim. So we're a lucky group, and we'd love for you to come and join us for that. It's starting at 6:45 to 8:15-ish. So, and it's the fourth Sunday that we perform. And did I not mention cookies? There's cookies. They're highly motivated by those cookies. Now, if you want to feel good and be uplifted, Andy and Nathan are back. Yay! Yay! And they're going to be singing of things of spring. So come check them out Wednesday, 7 p.m. It's always a good time. There's a lot of audience participation. You can sing along, suggest songs. It's really fun. And we have more music. We have the Donnell Band, big band, and he's doing a tribute to Cole Porter. And if you think you don't know Cole Porter songs, you know Cole Porter songs. You just don't know that you know. Night and Day, Anything Goes, Under My Skin, Frank Sinatra, Lady Gaga, Dolly Parton, Ella, everybody's covered his songs. So did you want to add anything to that?
Just come to the show.
Yes.
It's quite an experience, you know. It really is. It's amazing, the amount of energy in this room. So, and if you can't make it live online, it's pretty spectacular too. So, check it out.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. And now we have the following week, starting on April 3rd, we have a class that's taught by Catherine Flanagan. Where are you, Catherine? Oh, of course you are. Come up and tell us about this class.
Infinite You. This is based on the book, This Thing Called You. It is my favorite book. It's the easiest book, I think, to understand what James will agree, what the whole process is in Science of Mind. After I read it, I was able to understand the textbook because it really did take. But it's a great class. It's going to be fun, and it's on Thursday nights. It's on Thursday nights, and it's good. And it's gonna be here and on Zoom, so you can do whatever you want. And so I invite you to join. The book is just got into the bookstore, so we know it's here. Get the book. It's easy to read, easy to understand, and you'll have a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. For those of you who don't know, she's a wonderful poet. I came to the open mic night the other night, and we just have some great talent, some professionals. It's just wonderful, so come join us for that next time. We have another class coming up. We're a classy group, aren't we? Yeah. So this one's going to be taught by Ann DiNapoli, and it's on spiritual economics. She's going to be up next week and expound on that, give you all the details, but we know that's going to be a good class.
I'm going to vouch for that class. If you want to get your head right around finances and your situation, I took it last time, and Ann is a wizard. That is her specialty. So if your your situation is sketchy, you can have it drawn brilliantly with the help of Ann DiNapoli. And I'm just going to say, out of the blue, $50,000 showed up in my bank account after I did that.
Well, that's motivation right there. All right, so for those of you who don't know, we do a fundraiser called Adopt a Bill, where you can adopt a specific bill. Could be electricity, could be printer ink, it could be lots of things, small or large. And there's a board out there with all your options, so over and above your tithe. You guys have really stepped up, so thank you for that. We really appreciate your generosity, and as Marcus was saying, there's a lot behind all that goes on here, and it takes monies, so appreciate all of your donations on that. And the diversity team is still collecting. We're coming to the end, but they're collecting clothing, shoes, toiletries, that kind of stuff. The boxes are out in front. And monies. And monies. Thank you for the international sign. Was there something you wanted to add?
We're looking to raise at least $2,000 for these wonderful places to help the women and children that have gone through domestic violence. And if you went to the T, that's all going to that as well. So.
Yeah. Yes, and thank you for mentioning the tea, because word has it, it was pretty awesome, raised great money, it was full of talent, so well done, diversity team. It was spearheaded by Latanya, so well done. Next Sunday, Patty's going to be back stronger than ever, and the title is Ships in the Night, and we're going to have Cahill and Deline, and the house band is going to be here. So come join us for that. Can we give a round of applause for Marcus for stepping up? Very inspiring, very heartfelt. Thank you to the Higher Vision Choir, the master healer himself, and our choir director. And although she's not here, I want to give a shout out to Janet Hammer for stepping up last Tuesday to help us all out. And as ever, the sound and video crew doing their thing, keeping it straight.
All right. Now is the time for our affirmations. If I have the ministers and practitioners, please come up. All right. All right, with passion and joy, here we go. Here are our affirmations for today. Joyfully I accept and harvest the gifts of the Spirit within me. I am God's idea of beauty, Spirit's knowing of itself as me. I am unconditioned love. What do you think? Number 3? All right, it's number 3. I am unconditioned love. All right, and that is the truth. There is one life, one love that flows through each one of us, knows us intimately and beautifully, knowing that we are God's idea of beauty, that expression of God on earth, of Spirit's movement here and right now. And so I know as we go forth from this place today that Spirit goes before us, making those paths shaped in ways that are full of excitement and joy and interest, allowing us to create the life that we want to live, welcoming those seeds that we sow, that we might tend those gardens in joy and grace. And for this I am grateful, and know that this day is good with me, as we say, and so it is.